Okay, we have Monique from South Lake Tahoe. Welcome. Thank you for watching. Okay, so I'm gonna still leave the screen up. I just want to make sure everybody has their supplies. I'm gonna turn on my camera with the screen with the supplies on, and I'll just show you the supplies that I have. And hello, everyone. Welcome. So I have my hair up just because I have long hair. I don't want it to get in the way of the makeup. If you have long hair, you might want to put it back. We are going to be doing a whole full face makeup. If you have shorter hair, you probably don't have to worry about it too much. I also selected a flower crown. I do want to talk about the optional stuff first before we get to the stuff that we'll actually need. Just because this is not necessary from Ottawa, Canada. Welcome. So the optional parts are the makeup primer and the setting powder. So what the makeup primer is going to do, it's kind of a cream that you apply to your face before we get started. That will actually help it stay on for a long time. So I celebrate the Day of the Dead every year. It's a tradition I've had in my family for as long as I can remember. So I celebrate this every year, and every year I do this makeup. And the makeup primer really has helped me in days where I have to keep the makeup on all day, whether it's for work or at home. There are times I have to have it on all day. So the makeup primer helps a lot. I'm not going to be doing the primer today because it's not Day of the Dead today. So I don't need to have the makeup on all day today. But if you want to keep it on all day, if you are celebrating Day of the Dead, you can put it on and that'll help you stay on. Same thing with the setting powder. So the setting powder, I have some, but I'm not going to be using it, like I said, because I'm not actually celebrating Day of the Dead today. So that's a powder that you can put on your face after your makeup is done. It's white, but when it's translucent. So when it dries clear, and then it helps you keep it on. And that's just a good thing to do anytime you're wearing full face makeup. If you're doing Halloween makeup, if you're doing Day of the Dead makeup, whatever the occasion may be, that really helps. Another thing is a face gem. So I have a few face gems that I may or may not use. We'll see. So I have some here, and then I also got this set, but then realized that I don't have the tweezers. So I might have to do with my fingers. Hello, Andrea from San Jose, welcome. And finally, I have the flower crown. Now, this is 100% up to you. I like the look with the flower crown in the end just because it's more traditional. I know in Mexico, we wear these a lot in Day of the Dead. You don't have to have this part. I just like it. I think it looks really cool in the end. So now that we've covered that, let me tell you what you are going to need for sure. And what you're going to need is going to need some white face paint. I'm going to show you the one that I'm using today is the NYX brand, the SFX face paint. I've used this before for Halloween, again for Day of the Dead. I do this every year. So this has been the best one that I've used so far. This stays on your face the whole day. It does not smear. It looks great. And it's only $10. So you can buy this online. And then I have this one as well in black. We also have this palette of beautiful assorted colors that I'm going to be using. So I actually just bought this for this occasion. So we'll see how it works out. I have not tried it yet. We'll see. It has good reviews though. We are also going to need some a thin makeup brush. What I mean by thin is something like this. I have one that's extra thin. It's kind of crazy. It's like this tiny. You see it? You're not going to need this so much, especially if it's your first time doing this. By thin, I mean something like this that has kind of like a thin tip because we are going to be doing some details on our face. And then we're also going to need a medium makeup brush, and I'll show you the medium one in just a second, because for that one, we're actually going to be filling in a lot of the empty spaces. So the medium one I have is kind of like this, just a little bit thicker. You don't have to worry so much about the edges. And then we have a makeup sponge, which I have a couple, just very basic. These were very cheap from Target, not the fancier ones. And the cotton swabs. And again, the cotton swabs I should have put in the optional version because you don't have to have these, but this helps to do some of the detail on your face. So does anybody, before we begin, can you tell me in the chat, does anybody actually celebrate the Day of the Dead? Can you raise your hand on Zoom if you actually celebrate the Day of the Dead? Yes, we do. Okay, great. So I'm glad. For anybody that does not celebrate Dia de los Muertos, I want to tell you a little bit about the tradition. So Dia de los Muertos is a holiday that we have in Mexico where we celebrate the lives of those who have done, in our beliefs, moved on to their next life. So we celebrate, instead of mourning our loved ones that have passed, we celebrate their life, and we set up what's called an ofrenda, which is kind of like an altar with their favorite things on it. So we'll put their favorite foods and drinks, and we'll put a picture of them. And if you've seen the movie Coco, Coco is not 100% accurate, but it's very, very accurate. So if you've seen the movie Coco, just like in Coco, when Miguel sets up the ofrenda for his family, when we put their picture up, it's because we remember them every year. And part of the tradition is to paint our faces like skulls. And in Spanish, los esqueletos, the sugar skull face, is very colorful, and you want to emulate it. You can do whatever you want. That's the best part about this, is that you can paint it any color you want. You can do any designs that you want. So what I'm going to be doing today is just kind of like a base for it, and then you can add whatever designs or color. You don't even have to do white and black. You could do like purple or blue or green. You can do whatever color you want, but I'm going to just do the very basic one, okay? All right, and with a raise of hands, does everybody have the supplies that you need? Does everybody raise hands? Okay, are we ready to start? Awesome. Let me stop sharing my screen. Great. And if you celebrate and you want to tell us about, I know also something beautiful about Dia de los Muertos and Day of the Dead, it's that it's a tradition all over Mexico, and it's celebrated in so many different ways. So people do it differently. Some people do it at home. Other people go to the cemetery to do it. People paint their faces. Sometimes they don't. So it's entirely by family and how your family celebrates it. So if you have a certain way that you celebrate it, please let me know in the chat. I'd love to know. But with that being said, let's start. So I'm going to get the computer a little bit closer, make sure I'm spotlighted. If you have any questions throughout, I do have an eye on the chat, but also the amazing Miss Jackie is watching our program for us. So she wants to, she's going to make sure to answer all questions, and I'm here as well. All right, so let's get started. I know I have some friends on YouTube. Hi, guys. Thank you for watching. All right, so like I said, I'm going to put my hair up. Make sure your face is clean. Make sure your face is washed for this, because we are going to put paint all over it. Okay, it's 10 minutes in. I think we are good to start. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my white paint, and we are going to do the base of the skull. So the skull part is very, very simple. And that's because you just have to follow basically the outline of your face. So you do have a skull under here, right? So to follow the skull, you have to follow the outline of your bones. So we're going to do the whole forehead. We're going to skip the eyes. And we're actually going to leave a little bit extra space because I'm going to do some petals around the eyes. Again, that's my personal choice. You don't have to do it. If you go on Google, you can see so many different designs that people have done. I'm just going to do a very basic one today. So I'm going to leave this area empty because that's going to be black for mine. I'm going to leave my nose empty right here because this is where your nose hole would be. And then for the mouth, I've done the really fancy fake teeth before, but that's very time consuming and complicated. So I'm just going to do a line of black right here, and I'm going to do some lines here as well for the teeth. Okay, so everybody ready to start? Raise your hand. Are we ready to start? Yes. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get started. So take your sponge. You take your white paint. We're just going to dab it a little bit. And this is my favorite paint too. If you have any questions about the supplies that I have as well, you can feel free to ask me in the chat. I'm sure you have your own awesome supplies. And then we're just going to start painting. And I say I'm going to leave the eyes alone for now, and you'll see why in a bit. Ooh, I'm also going to leave the nose alone, so I'm going to stop a little bit. I also have some makeup remover on hand in case I need to fix anything, because I'm going to have to take some of this off. So, and like I said, this is my favorite brand because look at how it goes on. It doesn't look cakey. It looks great. So it just stays on really, really well. This is a great brand for face paint. And if you have any questions, feel free to just type them in the chat. This tutorial probably take about maybe like we'll probably be done by like 4:45, I think. The most consuming part is really just painting your face white. I'm trying to get everything. And I don't have a mirror right now. My mirror is the camera. So if you see anything that I missed, let me know. I'm trying my best. So I want to make sure everybody can see me. And if you're using a white paint from like Spirit or another Halloween store, a lot of the time those stores will sell oil-based paint. I don't believe this one is on oil-based, but that one can get very wet. So you just want to make sure you have enough time to let it dry before you start designing anything else. What brand is the paint? The one that I'm using is NYX SFX. And this is a great brand. I cannot recommend this enough. I paint my face a lot. Halloween's my favorite time of the year. I love costumes. I love special effects stuff. So this one is great. That's NYX SFX. And I did buy it online. It took a few days to get here. Never going back to another brand. At least not for the base. For the colors, since we're not going to be using that a lot, then everything should be fine. But for the base, I really, really like this paint. So it goes on super soft. And see, I'm kind of leaving a space. So when you get to the eyes, you can follow your eye socket is like right around here, right? So you could do it from your eyebrow all the way down, just follow the shape of your bone like this for the black part or whatever color you want to do that in. But like I said, I'm leaving some space here because I'm going to do some petals around the eye socket. So that's why I'm leaving it blank. Okay. And when I'm doing like, I'll be doing a Dia de los Muertos story time on November 2nd, which is actually one of the days. Again, in different regions of Mexico, it's different, but one of the days of Dia de los Muertos is not just one day, it's November 2nd. So that day I'll be doing story time. That day I'm going to be doing the whole face paint. So usually I'll do a couple of layers all of the white. If you want it to look very, very, very like white and realistic. But for today, because I think in the camera it looks fine, in person it probably doesn't look this solid. So normally I would do 2 layers of white. Today, I think I'll just keep it like this. Okay, and I'm gonna leave my nose empty for now, and then we're gonna go back and fill in whatever spaces we need to fill in with the white later. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, looks good. I think I'm pretty much done with the white. And then I can get the sides though here. Okay. All right. So I know you're probably still working at home. I know I've done this many, many times, so it might be a little faster. So I'm just going to tell you what you can do to the next one. Again, if you're not at the step yet, this is being recorded on YouTube. You can go back and watch this later. And I'm just going to move on to the next step so you can keep working. Take your time. Don't rush it. What I've learned with doing this type of thing over and over again over the years is do not rush it. If you want it to turn out the way that you want it, make sure you take your time on it. It can get frustrating. Especially if you're hot, then you'll get sweaty and you'll see the sweat start coming off through the paint. Just take your time. Make sure you're in a cool space where you can sit and really take your time with it. Okay. All right, so next thing, I'm going to do the same thing I did just now with the white paint, except I'm going to do it with black paint. I'm going to fill in this hole, and I'm still going to leave some empty space between the white and the black. And that's for my petals. I'm only going to do that around the eyes. The nose I'm just gonna fill in, and then we'll get to the details in just a second. If you have anything you want to say, please feel free. I do have an eye of the chat. I don't want to make you guys feel like I'm rushing anything, so please let me know your thoughts. I also have an eye on YouTube, so friends on YouTube, you can just type them in as well. And the black gets really messy really fast, especially around my eyes here. I get really oily sometimes, and that kind of makes it look really messy. So take your time. It all depends on the kind of supplies that you have. Your hands will get really dirty. Just a heads up. I already have paint under my nails. I try to do things as cheaply as I can. So my sponges and my brushes are all like $1. I don't have anything fancy. The fanciest thing about this is the paint. And that was only $10. And I know it looks messy now, but I promise we'll clean it up. And for this, I'm going to go up to the eyebrow, see? Up to the eyebrow. And then around. And don't worry if it gets in parts that it's not supposed to, we can always clean it up. And this is the part where we're going to pull out the brush because it's getting too like in nooks and crannies of our faces. And it starts getting messy like this. So I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm going to go touch it up on the brush in just a second. Now I'm going to do the nose. I'm going to color the whole thing. Like that. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to the brush section and I'm gonna use my medium brush that I showed you earlier. I got this really, really cool stackable brush from Sephora and I've used this over the years as well. I just clean it up every time I use it and it's lasted me, I've had this for like 10 years. And you have different types of brushes that just kind of stack on top of each other and you make one giant brush. It's really cool. So this is the one I'm gonna be using. And I'm gonna put it in the black paint and I'm gonna start cleaning this up. This will give you like a finer edge, see? And if you have makeup remover, I highly recommend it right now to clean up your brushes as you go, especially if you're gonna be using different colors because you don't wanna mix the paints. This is kind of hard to do with a camera, not a mirror, so I apologize if it looks a little messy. I'm just gonna start filling in after that. And if you just love your makeup when you're done, I love your makeup too, and I really want to see it. So, Miss Jackie, can you please put my email in the chat if you want to take some pictures of your makeup and send it to me, and we'll post it on our social media. I would love to see your photos. Please do send me photos. I love to see your crafts, your makeup, whenever you're done with anything we do here at the library. I love to see afterwards. If you feel comfortable sharing in the chat, you don't have to, but if you want to tell me who you are celebrating in your ofrenda with your makeup for Dia de los Muertos this year, you can also tell me. I will be celebrating my father-in-law. Thank you, Miss Jackie. Miss Jackie's the best. And if you are old enough, like you're an adult, I know we had some adults interested in this program. You're an adult, a really nice look. In the end is if you add contacts. I've done white contacts before, or red or purple. It's very, very pretty. The contrast of the black with the color in your eyes looks amazing. What is the liner being used? I'm not using a liner. I'm actually using the black paint, same brand, NYX, the SFX, but in black. And I'm using like a medium brush around the eye. So this is actually black paint. And this paint is safe for use around all over your face and the eyes. So that's why I'm using this one. But you can use liner. In the past, I have used, I believe, I think I used that the Anastasia, the cream Anastasia Beverly Hills liner. I've used that before too, and it worked really well. The thing with eyeliner though, for this part, is that it's so hard to take off. So when you go home at night, because usually I get home at night after this, it's so difficult to take it off. That's why I try not to use eyeliner. It will stay on very, very well. But if that's what you want, that's good. Andrea says, mis abuelitos, miss them so much. Oh, I'm glad you're celebrating your abuelitos, Andrea, because my niece, my father-in-law, that is her abuelito. So we're celebrating her abuelito as well. Oh, Dia de los Muertos is such a beautiful tradition. We just celebrate the lives of those we love, celebrate life in general. And we encourage anybody that's interested to also celebrate their families and their loved ones. Okay, we're getting there. I have a filter on Zoom that's giving me lips, so that's kind of funny. So I'm sorry if you see it. That's not part of the tutorial. I'll see if I can take it off in a minute. Okay, awesome. And then for the nose is one of my favorite parts of this. So if you were to look up a skull on Google, right, you'd see that your nose is kind of like an upside down heart, and then it has some lines up. So it's not going to be entirely accurate like a real skull, but I'll show you the way that I do my nose. And let me just turn off these fake lips. I think there we go. Okay. All right. So for the nose, I'm going to do one line that goes up sideways like this. And then I'm going to go around the nose. Like that. And then I'm going to do one up a little bit higher on the other side. Like that. Down. And up. And again, you can do this in so many different ways. This is just my basic one. I'm going to go around. I'm not covering my whole nose. But you can if you want to. Just like up to the edge. Not all the way. Okay. How are we doing? Is everybody doing okay? Raise your hand. I know you guys are busy painting, so it's okay if you can't. Good. Okay. All right, now we're gonna move on to the petals around the eyes, and then we'll do the line for the face. So now that I see where I want my petals to go, I'm gonna go all the way around in small, tiny circles. I'm actually gonna use I have a new unused makeup sponge, kind of wipe up the extra paint that I don't want around there. And if you did paint it too close to the white, that's okay, because pretty much any color will overpower the white. It's just easier if you have a clean area, but if you went over a little bit, that's totally fine. So see, I went a little bit over down here, so I'm just gonna wipe it off. I don't want to use makeup remover quite yet because then it leaves it a little bit oily. So if you can just wipe it off with a sponge or a paper towel or whatever, that'll be fine. I can, again, depending on the paint you have, might be a little more difficult. This one's actually pretty tough to take off, so I'm just gonna paint over it. Okay, so the next step, I'm gonna use that thin brush I was talking about now. Now, several brushes here, and I'm glad I do because I'm actually gonna be needing more than just two. But if you only have two, that's fine, as long as you clean them off after you're done using it, because you are gonna need the smaller one for some details of your face. So I have another one here. I'm be using this one, and this is all e.l.f. at Target for $1. So I love my cheap supplies. Okay, now I'm gonna start making some petals. And I would just want to say this is probably going to be the most difficult part of the whole tutorial if you're doing the same design. Is because I have a hard time getting them to be the same size, but it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the best part. So I'm going to do just like a half circle here. This is really tough to do on a camera. I just realized. We're gonna do another one. And I'm gonna try my best so that they're all the same size, but if they're not, that's okay. Oh, it's okay. And so let me tell you some more about Dia de los Muertos. So the thing is that in our country, in Mexico, the way that when we set out the stuff for them on Dia de los Muertos, the candles, so we light candles on the ofrenda, right? Like in the movie Coco, and we set out the marigolds. The smell of the marigolds and the lights is gonna light their way to the ofrenda, which is your altar. And they actually visit on Day of the Dead, and you have all their favorite things up for them, their favorite drinks, their favorite food, everything they used to love in life. You have it out for them, and they'll actually come by and take all the flavor out of everything. So you cannot eat it the next day. You have to make sure you should throw everything away because they will not like it if you eat their food. So you come and you drop off their food and they will suck out the flavor. They'll visit you and they'll be happy you remember them, and then you'll do it again the next year. Oh, see, that one's so short, but that's okay. Try to do it bigger. It's really hard to do in a camera. Not joking, you guys. This is tougher than I thought. Okay, it's getting there. Half circle. Half circle. There we go. That's not bad. Now we're going to move on to the other side. Just pick a random spot to start. And again, anything that you don't like, you can always go back and take it off or fix it. You can do flowers. Some people actually just do the face makeup without any color. That's fine, like the black and the white. Other people, instead of doing the flower petals, add gems, which is what I was going to do originally, but then I realized I don't have the tweezers. Thought it came with tweezers. I should have checked. So I'm doing petals. I love the freedom of designing it the whatever way you want. Last one. There we go. There are my petals. Yay! I'm gonna take that sponge from earlier. They just went a little too dark here. I don't want it to get mixed in with the other colors. So there we go. Okay, great. All right, how's everybody doing? Are we doing okay? If you get a chance, can you raise your little Zoom hand? On the bottom, there's a raise your hand button. Okay, we're good. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I know you're busy. I just want to make sure. Okay, now I know this takes some time, so take your time. Keep taking your time as long as you need. You can always replay this. I'll actually ask Miss Jackie. I'm sorry to bother you again. Can you please put the link to the YouTube recording in the Zoom chat? And if you're on YouTube, you can actually just rewind and pause and do whatever you need to do. We'll get that link to you guys shortly. Okay, now we're gonna do the teeth. So I've done it before in so many different ways. You can do this so many different ways. We're actually drawn teeth before. In other years, I've used the black to kind of follow the outline of your jaw here, and then all the way down, and then add white on top to make it look like real teeth and the shadowing. That was very difficult. Don't recommend it unless you were very advanced face painter, because it didn't look great for me. But the one I'm going to do right now is really basic, so we'll just do a couple of lines across your mouth, and then we're going to draw teeth. So I'll show you what that looks like, and that one looks really good. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie's awesome. And we're going to start actually from, if you feel around your face, you can feel the muscles and you can feel where your teeth actually start. For me, it's like right here. So this is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to draw a line all the way down to my mouth. So feel around. It's cool because you already have, like, it's like a cookie cutter. You already have your outline of your face, of your real face. So you just follow that. So mine's right here. Just going to draw it down. That. Easy peasy. And the other one. Feel around. There it is. And that happens sometimes, and that's okay. And I have my cleaner up here. There we go. I'm just going to put some white on that again, because I made a mistake. That's okay. Okay. Just touch this up a little bit, and then we start with the teeth. Oh, sorry, 4:40. But this was only going to be 45 minutes. I guess we'll go till 5. There we go. Okay. So now that you have that done, now you're just going to draw lines. And we'll get to the color. And I always forget. Then I get itchy and then I scratch, and that's what happens. Don't do that. I'm glad I did it, so you know not to do that. I'm going to replace that. Let's really clean this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so for the teeth, you're gonna, like, you can smile and see your real teeth. This is not going to be realistic to your teeth because my teeth specifically are so tiny. I would have to make so many lines. So I'm just going to start like where my actual teeth are in the middle, and then I'll make some lines from there. So I can go like this to see, and I can mark it. That's where my actual teeth are. So I know I'm making a silly face. I'm sorry. I'm gonna laugh. Oh, I don't laugh while I'm doing this. It's pretty funny. So see, and you can follow like where your teeth and like right here, but your actual mouth is all the way down because you have a lot more teeth under your gums that you can't see. So you want to go all the way down. And you're gonna be making some silly faces this whole time, so I'm sorry. There we go. Clean that up. Add some more white. Replace the white. There you go. Okay. And now I'm just gonna pick a spot and do the same thing parallel. So all the lines, you can try your best for them to be even. They might not be. It's okay. So however you like. And you want to make sure you close your mouth because that way it's easier to do one line than to try and match it up. So just close and add the line. Now you can tell, but I'm trying to do them as smaller as they get closer to the end. There we go. Now the other side. See, now it's not even, but that's okay. There we go. And that takes care of the teeth. Now, before we get into the color, a lot of people when they do their Day of the Dead makeup, they like to have like little swirly lines. So I've seen people do the teeth as actual like little swirls instead of teeth or straight lines like this. You can do however you want. I'm just gonna add some lines here. I like having the design. So just a couple swirls, kind of like this. Like that. And then you can add for the top here, you could do any design you like. So I'm actually gonna do a spider web. No spider, because spider is very complicated for me. I'm just gonna do a spider web. So just take the middle and go down. So that's kind of straight-ish. I'm gonna go to the side. This is really tough to do with a camera, so I'm sorry that I'm a little bit shaky. A lot easier if you have a mirror. I'll take it. That looks okay. Not great. That's all right. And the way I do a spider web usually, I'll try to have it more even for the most part, but since I'm trying to get this done by 5, I'll have it all the way down and kind of going on different weights like this, and then you just connect the lines. So kind of go like 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to do the exact same, connecting these two together. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Last one. should be just 3. Just like that. I've done spiders before. Spiders are a lot more difficult than it looks. So I like just spiderweb for today. And this one. There we go. It's a spider web. Okay, my friends, we're almost there. You're doing so great. I can't wait to see everybody's designs. So the next thing I'm gonna do, we'll see if we'll have time for the gems. I'm gonna take my awesome palette of different paints and I'm gonna let you guys decide the color. So I know you're busy, I know you're painting, but what color do you suggest for me to do the petals of my eyes? Does anybody have some choices? In the meantime, I'm gonna add a little design. Blue. All right, we could do blue. That sounds good. So I'm gonna take the brush that I was just using just now and I'm gonna clean it up with a little bit of makeup remover. So the way that I do that, and yours is pink. So I'm gonna do one blue, one pink. How about that? Or I'm gonna change them, actually, switch them around a little bit. So blue and pink, we'll do both of those. Popular demand. So I have some makeup remover here and I'm gonna put it on a cotton swab, like I said earlier. And I'm just gonna take the one that has the paint. I'm gonna wipe it on the cotton swab and that cleans it up for you. Because I need this right now to be a different color. You want to make sure it's all the way clean because the black will actually stain your other paints. So it's a good way of making sure that it's good to go. Because you can actually see the paint come off instead of just dipping it. We have the video on YouTube. Yes, Zenaida, we do have it. Can Miss Jackie, can you post that link again? So Zenaida, we do have that. We'll get that for you. All right, for popular demand, we're gonna start with the blue and then we're gonna do pink. So I'm gonna take some blue from this paint and I'm just gonna fill it in. If you are enjoying this tutorial, whenever you get a chance, like I said, I know you're busy, let me know. Hope you like it. This is our first time doing something like this for the other month, so hope you're enjoying yourself, enjoying the tutorial. I know there's a ton of tutorials on YouTube, but that'd be good for you to see it from somebody that's not a professional artist. You can see that it can still come out pretty good. I think you can tell that I'm not an artist, but that's okay. So I'm just filling in with the snare brush the petals that I want to be a certain color. And I have you can use makeup remover wipes also in case the black gets in on your paintbrush. I have my little swab with makeup remover on it right next to me and I'm wiping it every time so that I don't get the other paint dirty because the black will stain the other paints. And I'm moving pretty fast today, so I appreciate everybody keeping up. I hope that everyone's having fun. Okay. So blue. Okay, great. There's some blue here. All right, then we're gonna move on to the other eye. I don't think, and it also looks a lot different in person. Let me see. I still have the filter on. I don't know how to take that off. Well, sorry, I don't know how to take off these lips. Still there, yeah. But in person, it looks a little bit different. The camera does make everything lighter, so this blue is not as light as it looks in the camera for in person. But at least you can see it. You can see it, right? Yeah, you can. Okay, good. Okay, almost done with the blue. Great. And now we're gonna go with pink. I'm gonna clean off my brush and use the pink one now. Okay. Here we go. Okay. It looks really good. Very nice choice of colors. I love it. Okay. Almost done. Okay. Almost done. We got 10 more minutes. We're gonna make it just in time. Almost there. There we go. And that's it for the petals. That was the most difficult part. The hardest part is always the petals. And look, I got paint all over there because there was some paint on my finger and I didn't realize it. So I'm gonna clean that up really quickly. I'll wipe it off. Okay, and what I'm gonna do now that I'm done with the petal, see how I still left some white there? I'm just gonna go back and add white in the empty spaces again, like this that I just wiped up. And then right here. And here, and here. Pretty much almost done, guys. Can't wait to see everybody's makeup. If you want to, you can also send me a picture. If you don't want me to post it to social media, you can tell me in the email. Don't post this, but I just wanted you to see. I really would love to see your makeup if you feel comfortable sharing it with me. Love to see what you came up with. Oh, look, I did it again on this side too. It's because there's paint on my finger. Take that off. Didn't realize it. Okay, I'm gonna fix it. Fix that. Okay, and now that I'm all done, I'm gonna add some random designs. The easiest way to do the design, and this is why I wanted you guys to get some cotton swabs, aka Q-tips. And we can actually, I can show you how to put on one of the gems. So I'm gonna do one just to show you what it looks like. Let's see, I'm gonna open these red ones because I think that'll look good with the rest of the makeup I have. And so some of these are like press on. So like, for example, this is like a press on gem, but those don't really work. Why? Because you already have paint on your face. So if you are not going to be moving around doing anything crazy, it'll work. It'll stay on just fine. If you're taking some pictures, that'll be fine. Or if you are just doing your low-key Dia de los Muertos celebration, that's also fine. But for somebody like me who's running around at work all over the place with this makeup on, that doesn't really stay on. So I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can do it. So number one is a press on method that it comes with. You just basically peel it off. Have some glue that you can see in the back here. And I'm going to glue it on. I'm going to press it on right here in the middle. Just press it on for a few seconds. Hold it down. This should stay up enough. But say that you were going to go to a party or something and you want to have this makeup on. Something that you can use is called, and this is parents, this is something that you have to do. You cannot let your children do this alone. This is a family program, so it's open to everybody. But parents, make sure if you're using this, that you are the one that's utilizing it, not the children, because this is basically glue for your face. It's called spirit gum. If you can see it, it's very tiny. It's glue that is safe to use on your body. So I use spirit gum all the time. I like to do a lot of special effects makeup. So I use this all the time to put on, like, you know, for Halloween, I'll do like a fake wound or whatever. Or if like one time, I don't know if any of you were here at the Central Park Library one year, I was the witch from Snow White, the evil queen when she was old, like when she had the big nose. So I actually use this to glue the nose on my real nose, and it stayed on all day pretty much. So this is a great stuff. So for the gems, basically you just need a tiny little bit of this. You put it on the back and you glue it on and you let it dry, and that will stay on all day. But again, parents, you need to be the one administering this. Kiddos, you cannot use this by yourselves. Make sure that your parent is doing it with you. Okay, so we're pretty much all done. The last thing I want to show you is how to do some dots around your face. So that's why we have a Q-tip. And some people really like to put dots around, like in between the flowers or here, or tiny hearts or whatever. I'm going to actually do some purple dots just to show you how. So I'm going to take my paint here and I'm going to put the Q-tip in there, swirl it around a little bit, not too much because you don't want to damage the paint. So a little tiny bit, and then I'm just gonna go like this. Dot. And that's a really easy way of doing the dots. Dot. And then the first one I kind of moved, but if you don't move, you just put it straight on, and it'll be a very nice circle. So if you did buy some gems, you can put on the press-ons. You can use a spirit gum for glue. If you didn't buy gems, that's also fine because you can also draw on with the Q-tip. I just realized in the camera, the pink and the purple kind of look the same. They don't in person. We have Karen. Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. My friend Karen on YouTube asked the question, would you recommend putting on double the paint if you want it to be more dramatic? Yes. So mine, because I'm only doing this tutorial, we have limited time, and also I'm literally going to wash this off as soon as I'm done with you guys. Yes, if you want it to be like a full on skull looking makeup, I would definitely recommend double layers. And I really, again, highly recommend this brand of face paint. I would just make sure parents, you search it up to make sure it's safe for children. But I'm not entirely sure. That's why I don't want to say that it is. But just look it up. I always look up if these paints are safe for children when I do my niece's makeup because, like I said, my family celebrates this every year. So we all paint our faces every year. Okay, and then the dots are pretty much done. And I'm gonna add 2 tiny more details before we go. I still have a clean brush here. I'm just gonna do a little heart here and here. So I'm gonna take some red paint and do a heart. See if it turns out. We'll see. That's kind of cute. Okay, almost done, everyone. Okay, and we are all done. Good job, everyone. Oh, just kidding. No, we're not. Last detail. If you did buy the crown, you can put that on right now. We'll see how it looks. Put that on. I'm gonna take my hair down and see how it looks. Does that look good? Good job, everyone. We are all finished. So thank you all so much for joining me today. Thank you for being here. Feliz Dia de los Muertos. If you're celebrating, it's your first time celebrating, I hope it goes great. If this is your 10th, 15th, 20th year doing it, I hope that you all have a great time enjoying the life of your loved ones. Thank you for joining in this tutorial, everybody. Does anybody have any questions before we go? You can type in the chat, raise your hand if you're all done. I'm sure you guys are still working. So thank you, Nicole. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I hope it looks good. You know, there's other things I've done in the past too, where they have like temporary tattoos that you can put on your face. Sometimes when I don't have enough time to do it, I buy the tattoo. So see the question from YouTube. Yes, we answered that one already, the double paint. So thank you, Sonaira. So if you're late, thank you, Andrea, for being here. It's okay if you're late. So make sure you watch the recording. We did put that link in there. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Feliz Dia de los Muertos. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you. If you have little ones, remember our Dia de los Muertos story time is next Tuesday, which is on Dia de los Muertos on November 2nd. Andrea, I love that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Nice to see you guys.